Alrighty, so real quick, straightforward hub replacement. Check this out. It's actually my mom's car, and I replaced the tires and then took it for a test drive and noticed a pretty epic whining, like a whining noise, and then I lifted it and look how much play there is. So basically, I just ordered the whole hub assembly with the bearing because I didn't want to waste my time pressing in the new bearing. It was like $140, I think, from SKF, which makes pretty good bearings. And then you also are going to need this little seal. There's a part number for you. So yeah, real quick, we got a new impact, by the way. I want to test this guy out. That's three quarter. Beast. Two bolts in the rear. Okay, so the caliper bolts are 17 millimeter and 12 millimeter for the bracket. Support it like that so you don't pull on the lines, and just set it aside for now. You're going to remove the cotter pin with this little protector, set that aside, and then next we're going to get this main bolt off, or not rather. It's a 35 mil for that bolt. Stinging. For these guys here, 4 bolts, 17 mil. I'm actually surprised how they weren't even, I mean, they were tight, but not like how I would expect. So when I'm putting these back, I'm definitely gonna put some red locked thread locker on there. Once you get the hub off, all you gotta do, once you loosen the nuts, just take a hammer and hit it here, hit it here, hit it here, while pulling back, and it'll eventually come out. You're gonna wanna clean this surface up, so just take any kind of your preference of sandpaper. You're going to want this to be perfectly clean before you put the new hub on. And then don't forget your dust shield. This is the orientation it goes in. The cut part goes towards the top when you put it back. You can also inspect the splines here. They are a little bit worn. It's got about 190, 200,000 miles on it now, but this is still totally fine. Clean all that garbage out over there. We're gonna put some grease on here, assembly lube, and put everything back. Вот это новое. Тихо, тихо. Даже не слышно. Вот старый подшипник. So you're going to apply some O-ring lubricant to your new O-ring. And then what I also like to do is use a little bit of this Lipomoly long life grease on the actual spline shaft itself and a little bit inside. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pull this out all the way. Also, this is going to be your wheel speed sensor. So what you're going to do is clean all the garbage off of it so it gets a good reading, because this is the little magnetic strip that it gets the reading off. Make sure this is perfectly clean when you put it in, because if there's any grease or garbage or gunk here, it won't get an accurate reading. And you're going to get a fault for wheel speed sensor. I like to always put some thread locker, not just on here when you tighten these guys up, but also on here. I'll get the torque specs for you guys in a second, before you assemble everything. And then wipe off the excess. Now this right now, it's not torqued, it's just snug on there. I'm gonna take a torque wrench and snug that guy up. But it's important to sand down the dust shield from both sides. So from this side and from the other side, I just use a grinder like this, and then I applied that same long life grease in between so that it mates perfectly with the spindle, the knuckle, and there's no debris or anything preventing it from perfectly sitting flat. And then this is the little cutout for the caliper. Alright guys, so go ahead and put the emergency brake on, and what you're going to do is torque this bolt to 238 Newton meters, I believe, or 235. And you're good to go. Real quick guys, I want to show you the torque specs. So for that hub nut, it's 235 Newton meters or 173 foot-pounds. They want you to take off the wheel speed sensor for some reason. I don't understand why. I think that's only if you're replacing the bearing and you got to take off the knuckle. Tie rod end, 91 Newton meters. Yeah, 225 Newton meters for that center hub nut. And then for the caliper bolts, 123 Newton meters. And for that caliper bracket, 29 Newton meters.